What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're coming to you from Hong Kong, China, right here in the Pearl River Valley. We're going to show you 21 things that you can do while visiting here. There will be timestamps below so you can bounce around from location to location. I personally have been to Hong Kong 6 times. Starting out here at Ocean Park. Now, the admission fee to get in here is around $45 to $50 for adults, and then around $25 to $30 for kids. Prices do vary. One thing I want to say, in Hong Kong right now, the currency is $1 to 7.85 Hong Kong dollars. This is actually the second largest theme park in Hong Kong, behind Hong Kong Disneyland. A lot of people would say, though, this is a better experience for most people. It originally opened in 1977 and underwent a facelift and renovation in 1997. They have roller coasters here, water rides, an aquarium with marine mammals. Really an amazing, fun park to hang out for half a day or maybe even a full day. It's bigger than you will think. It is located on the side of a hill. As you can see, you get the backdrop with the ocean and the roller coasters. But they do have escalators, so don't worry about getting around if you're not able to walk a lot. In 2011, they opened up Aqua City, and that's going to have the Grand Aquarium, which has over 5,000 fish, 400 species, and the world's first and only 360-degree water screen show. Lots of shows here. They have the culture show as well. And as you're at Ocean Park, you'll see the Ngong Ping 360 cable cars going back and forth from one end of Hong Kong Island to the other over here in Ocean Park. And if you can get a chance to ride one of these, you're really going to enjoy it. It takes about 25 minutes and costs $30 for adult per person. Next up, we're headed over here to the Big Buddha of Lantau Island, also known as Tian Tan Buddha. It began construction in 1990 and was completed in 1993. There is 268 steps to get to the top, so it is a bit of a huck to get up there. But once you get up there, you get these beautiful views overlooking Lantau Island and these surrounding islands. Now, there is no cost. It is totally free, although it is recommended that you make a small donation to the actual temple here. There are several ways to get here. You can take a car by crossing the bridge from Hong Kong Island to Lantau, or you can actually take the ferry from Mu Wo from Central, then bus number 2 from the Mu Wo ferry port. And it is a fun adventure trying to get to Lantau Island, actually. Next up, we're going to talk about the food here in Hong Kong. There's so many different types of Chinese food that you can try. They also have international cuisine, but when you're here in China, you certainly should try things like wonton noodle soup, dim sum, roasted duck, roasted pork. They also have pork knuckle. There's char siu, hargou, which is a steamed shrimp dumpling. Then there's pan-fried turnip cakes, which are also very interesting. And I like the pan-fried noodles Cantonese style. So now we're going to actually go on a double-decker tram. Now, these are all across Hong Kong Island. You will see them in Wan Chai. You'll see them as you go up and down. These are above the subway system, the MRT. So if you're looking for a classic transportation experience in Hong Kong, you should try riding the double-decker tram. And not only is it a classic transportation experience, but it's very functional and works for getting you around from point A to point B. And the good news is your octopus card that you would use with MRT actually works with the trams. Next up is exploring around the streets of Wan Chai. This area is popular with antique shops. Also have noodle shops for those of you looking to get some lunch. There's casual eateries, and it's mainly a mall area with a financial district here. They also have a computer center for technology. They also have outdoor markets where they have meat and produce just sitting outside. You can walk around and see what kind of food they offer here in Hong Kong also. And now we're going to Kowloon. Kowloon is across Victoria Harbor. This is Avenue of the Stars. One of the main reasons why Avenue of the Stars is so popular is because of the panoramic views you get overlooking the Victoria Harbor towards Hong Kong Island, where all the high rises are from Kowloon. At night, people come out here and they watch the Symphony of Lights display. Since a lot of the buildings light up at night, it's really nice. You'll also see the junk boats and other types of maritime traffic. And one of the iconic landmarks that you will see in Hong Kong is going to be the observation wheel. This is a big Ferris wheel right there on the harbor front. It is around $20 per person, and the full rotation takes around 15 to 20 minutes. This observation wheel, by the way, is on Hong Kong Island, and in order to get here, you can simply go to the MTR station known as Central, and then then basically walk over here. Another really fun thing to do is go to the top of Victoria Peak, and you can take one of these funicular cars that goes up the mountain. Amazing panoramic views as always in Hong Kong. But that's the main reason why people go all the way up to Victoria Peak, is because they want the views looking down. As you can see, the forest and the jungle around Hong Kong is very lush, and the buildings just kind of pop right out of it. The mountain does have an alternative name known as Mount Austin, but once you get to the top, there is the Lodge Guardhouse. There's also going to be the Peak Freshwater Reservoir. You will see there are several reservoirs on Hong Kong Island, and there is a little bit of a small community up here, neighborhood. But again, the main reason Victoria Peak is so popular is because of the views. You get a Lama Island, Central Hong Kong Island, and Victoria Harbor. Very popular place to take pictures. Next up, we're gonna go to China, cross the border, so you're gonna need your passport and a visa for this. This is Shenzhen. Now, Shenzhen is a city all in of itself, but it's not very far away from Hong Kong Island, and it is considered the Silicon Valley of China. They've also got the Chinese Stock Exchange, which is one of two in China. The other one is in Shanghai. But yes, Shenzhen, a very amazing city that has basically been a boomtown city for the last 30 to 40 years. It went from a small fishing village to what it is today. The fastest way to get from Hong Kong to Shenzhen is by high-speed train. It takes around 20 minutes, and they have frequent departures daily. You can typically get this from the MTR subway station, where you arrive at 3 different ports where you will need to process immigration. Now, back in Hong Kong, we're going to talk about the hop-on, hop-off bus. This is a great way to get around Hong Kong Island and see some of the sights, especially if this is your first time here. Tickets usually range anywhere between $45 all the way up to $65, depending on time of year and the bus company you go with. Sitting on the top of that double-decker bus, just looking up at all the high rises around, is quite the amazing experience. Something that I always do when I go to Hong Kong is always visit Macau. They call it East Las Vegas. You can take the fast ferry. It takes about an hour each way. You can do a day trip, or you can actually go from Hong Kong, stay the night in Macau for a couple nights, and then come back to Hong Kong. The airport in Macau is kind of small, so I do recommend taking the ferry back to Hong Kong at some point to depart. The funny thing is, in Hong Kong, the ferry terminal is kind of old and outdated, but then when you get to Macau, you realize that they have a brand new ferry terminal, state-of-the-art, really amazing structure here. You do process immigration, so be aware of that. Which leads us to our next thing to do, which is actually explore Macau. Now, Macau is an SAR, that's a special autonomous region of China. So you don't necessarily need a visa to explore here, but when you get here, you can explore Cotai as well as the old Portuguese fort and the old area. Cotai is basically 2 islands that have merged together and created a Las Vegas Strip kind of experience, and you'll see many of the same hotels they have in Vegas also here, but they're a lot newer and more modern. Hotels like the Venetian, the MGM, also the Wynn, but then they have the Galaxy and several other hotels that are unique to Macau. The Cotai Strip is walkable, although it's not recommended. They do have a brand new tram, or you can get around by other forms of transportation like a bus. Speaking of transportation, let's go back to Hong Kong and ride the MTR. This is the Mass Transit Railway. It is considered the best mass transit system in the entire world. It has millions of passengers per day. It was originally completed in 1975, but still keeps adding on new stations as the Hong Kong metro area continues to grow in size. I really enjoy riding the MTR all over Hong Kong. Next up, we're gonna walk around a spice market. Now, walking around the spice market is interesting because you'll see so much variety and different things that you didn't even know are herbs or spices or Chinese medicines. So walking around something like this really is interesting. This one here is in Sim Sha Sui. There are many of these types of markets with these Chinese medicines that you can find across Hong Kong Island and Kowloon. So definitely just go around and see what's up. You'll see lots of mushrooms and funguses. Now let's talk about the electronic markets. This one here is in Wan Chai. They have several in Kowloon, but these are all around Hong Kong. Remember, China is the producer of many of the electronics that the world consumes. So going right here to Hong Kong to actually do some electronic shopping, you never know what kind of gadgets and gizmos you may come across walking around here. Lots of cameras and other computer related products. You'd be surprised how many products there actually is. It's like Best Buy on steroids. One of the main benefits benefits of going to an electronics market like this is hopefully saving some money, whether you're trying to pick up a small drone or a camera that's an off-brand that might even be superior to the GoPro if you turn it on and use it, but you might save, over 50% on it. Now we're going to do another ferry ride. This time we're going to cross Victoria Harbor, the world famous Victoria Harbor. Everyone knows about this one. This actually goes from Hong Kong Island to Kowloon. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It is a bit choppy in the Victoria Harbor at times. You see lots of different maritime traffic and the famous junk boats. Those junk boats are the boats that have those red sails. And yeah, they're basically carrying junk or trash, but they look cool because they're an iconic symbol of Hong Kong. If you look at the pictures that you see, you'll see these red junk boat sails with the big skyline of Hong Kong. Now we're headed across the island of Hong Kong to Stanley Market. Now Stanley Market is a place that's going to have everything, including the spices, the electronics. It's also going to have clothing and textiles. Same thing here. You're hoping to save money by going shopping here. That's what made this place so famous. Although with inflation, it's hard to really tell if you're saving money anymore anyways. If you do venture over to Stanley Market, probably be ready to buy a lot of different things and fill up the suitcase. So you don't want to fill up the suitcase because when you go through immigration, you're going to have to pay that extra price for the luggage weight. So one of the things you can do is actually ship it. So try to find a post office box. There are quite a bit of them around here. Mostly people use DHL. So when you do some shopping here, make sure it's going to be worth the money to get these souvenirs. So factor all of that in. It's usually best to buy some of these high quality items, these luxury items, and ship them in the box with some of the cheaper stuff. And if you don't want to go to these off-brand markets, then you can go to actual malls like this one here at IFC Mall. But there are many different big, huge malls around Hong Kong. And yes, this is a popular thing to do in most of Asia as well as here in Hong Kong. The first time I went to Hong Kong in 2006, I said to myself, these are some of the most impressive malls I've ever seen anywhere on earth. Still stands true to this day that Hong Kong has some of the most impressive malls you will see anywhere else. Very clean and elegant. But there's other places like Dubai and other parts of China who've caught up. American malls compared to Hong Kong malls, they don't even compete. Now this is a bit of a novelty place to go. This is the Central Mid-Level Escalators. It is the longest outdoor covered escalator system in the world. It covers around 800 meters in distance and goes up an elevation of 135 meters just because Hong Kong is built on the slopes of Victoria Peak basically. So you really need escalators to get up and down these hills, and that's why they built this. You can get here by taking the Central Market MRT, arriving here and then going to Queens Road Central or Jubilee Street and then just taking it up the hill. You can also ride it back down. Also guys, as we're continuing to show you around Hong Kong, I want to remind you guys that we have a channel memberships program where you can become an island hopper and get access to our travel masterclass. In that travel masterclass, there's over 10 courses teaching you everything that I've learned about traveling internationally. So do consider joining as a travel member. I will put a link below in the description to that, as well as several other videos that we've made across Asia, because I do recommend going to Asia and seeing more than just one city. Next up, let's actually talk about nightlife in Hong Kong. This is a very popular thing to do, obviously, with many different pubs and this British and Chinese fusion that you really see. You have Sim Sha Sui, which is a popular area. You have Lan Kwai Fong in the central, and then you have Wan Chai, which is another popular place. But I do really recommend Lan Kwai Fong, where they have Wyndham Street and Diaghiar Street. This is really the place to go for bars and pubs. Thanks guys for watching. We will put links to our video for Bangkok as well as Singapore, so click and watch those next. And thank you for subscribing and hitting the like button.